Good morning. Today is March 30th, 2026, and this is Just Listen Live, hosted by George Goodman. Welcome to the podcast. Friday, I thought that I did a pretty interesting podcast when I was talking about uh, what the parties, Democrats and Republicans, uh, were their major policies and stuff like that. And I thought that that was important to lay the foundation of where I'm headed next with these Southern Illinois podcasts. And first of all, I want to apologize. I'm on a little early, having some mechanical work done on my car, and I anticipate that I'll be there all day. I definitely won't be here at 10. But as always, you can leave me comments. I'm hoping to build my viewership. I think that I'm doing a pretty good job. And as a podcaster, you have to have a sense of humor. We cannot take the issues so seriously, like I see and hear a lot of people doing. And it is our job as podcasters, mainstream media people, some of them are famous from the networks, to really get you accurate information. And maybe we need to look at people behind the scenes of the mainstream media news outlets to see why they are framing information the way that they're doing. Because the person that's giving you the information, you can't really blame them because they're being told what to say. And if they don't do what's on the teleprompter, they could lose their job. And that's something that no one says. And over the years, I've noticed that on some of the news agencies, people come and go and leave. And I've noticed one or two people in particular when they were on a news agency that was very liberal, they went to a conservative one. So what I'm saying has some merit. Okay, so let's get into what's going on for this last week of March, when it's March 30th. So uh, April 1st is coming pretty quick. Now, what is dominating in Illinois, Southern Illinois, and Chicago? uh, what are the candidates talking about? They're talking about affordability, reproductive rights, public safety, and one of them is talking about the looming 2028 presidential campaign. And you can probably guess which candidate is talking about the presidential campaign. So, so the Governor Pritzker, is emphasizing his record. He's touting the credit rating, protecting abortion access, and passing climate initiatives. And he's trying to springboard, and I'm just telling you what is being reported, a potential run for the 2028 presidential run. Now, during the primaries, I noticed something, and you probably did too. Everyone he sponsored or endorsed won their primary. That says a lot about the influence of the governor in the state. And also, um, no one ran against him in the primary. And he spent more money on the people that he was endorsing. I've never seen anyone do that. And so that saved the Democrats money. Why is that important? On the Republican side, as I have been reporting to you, the Republican Party, uh, I didn't see them sponsoring any national ads or ads for people in Illinois. So you have to wonder what their strategy is. And I'll talk more about that in podcasts to come. Now, on the Republican side, you have Darren Bailey. So he's pivoting to the general election. So he's talking about uh, conservative fiscal policies and challenging the governor's record on the affordability crisis. So we'll have to stay tuned to see if what that translates in for regular people and the specifics. On the U.S. Senate side, uh, she is, Juliana Stratton is focused on Medicare for all, abolition ICE, and establishing a real living wage. And she is positioning herself to directly challenge Trump's policies. So on the Republican side, the Senate nominee is Don Tracy. He's focused on economic protectionism, arguing that the U.S. has been subsidizing the world for too long. He's also advocating for federal standards requiring valid photo identification. So it looks like at the top of the tickets here, they are pretty much echoing what the parties are talking about. All right. So central issues that they are talking about: affordability. So the Democrats want expanded child care subsidies and tax credit for first-time homeowners. And then the Republicans are pushing for property tax relief and reducing government spending. On the public safety part, Republicans talk about ending cash bail and increasing cooperation with federal immigration authorities. And then Democrats are calling for the dismantling of ICE. And as you saw earlier at the top of the ticket for governors and Senate, they are doing the same things too. Now, I will note something from the primary. On the Senate Democratic side, the person that was opposing Stratton wanted to just reform ICE. They didn't want to abolish them. And a lot of what that person was saying was more of getting along and compromise. Whereas the Democratic nominee, there's no compromise whatsoever. Accountability. So, as you are aware, there's the No Kings protests, and the candidates are on the Democratic side are framing it that this election is a fight for our lives to protect democratic institutions. Okay, and the Republicans, I looked, they didn't have a response to that. I'm assuming that they are law and order. Okay, here's what the legislature has been doing: insurance reform. There's a Senate Bill 1486, which recently passed the House. It aims to prevent excessive or unfairly discriminatory rate hikes for auto and homeowners insurance, and will require 60-day notice for premium increases of 10% or more. All right, that doesn't sound bad. They're talking about taxation and revenue, and I mentioned this as policy. This is on the Democratic side regarding a potential millionaire's tax to fund property tax relief, as well as debates over the fiscal year 2027 state budget. And Other groups are talking about trying to suspend the gas tax to provide immediate relief at the pumps. And this is what the legislature is talking about: technology and privacy. Considering the Social Media Age Restriction Act, which will require platforms to implement age assurance systems to prevent children from creating accounts. Sorry. Another bill seeks to prohibit the use of neurotechnology data in employment and insurance underwriting. All right. So your legislature is busy and a pattern is forming. Insurance reform, technology and privacy, those are sponsored bills. The taxation and revenue parts, there is no current bills out there for those initiatives, even though the Democrats are talking about it pretty heavily and they're using them for talking points. All right. Infrastructure and energy, rising utility costs, addressing the energy demands of data centers, and evaluating the state's water and road infrastructure. I will repeat something out of character here. The legislature in past years has worked with the utility companies to improve their infrastructure. And the way that they did that was by raising rates. As you see right now, your rates have gone down a little bit, but in another month or so, when it gets warmer, the rates will go up. And I researched this and researched this. It's nobody's talking point, except now the pivot seems to be towards data centers are the reason why the utility bills are high. And I don't think that that's true. Sorry. I had to voice an opinion about that one. All right. So moving on to immigration. The House recently advanced a bill that would ban the federal government from operating immigration detention centers within 1,500 feet of schools, homes, or places of worship. Okay. And that is a House bill that will probably be passed in Illinois. Several committees are holding critical hearings and they're talking about the stuff above. All right. So the focus of the legislature is funding for health, human services, and higher education for the upcoming fiscal year. Now, you're going to probably see this, and I'm going to make a prediction. What they're doing in the legislature is probably what on the Democratic side, the Democrats are going to be talking about: higher education. And if you will notice, I pointed this out that since they are having issues over immigration enforcement with the federal government, education is drying up. And in certain other areas of healthcare, it is too, because of their fight with the administration over who's supposed to be getting money. And so, as I previously have said, the legislature is laser focused on not following the federal laws by passing their own laws. So that's what's causing them to need more money. All right. In public health, they are discussing suicide prevention funding and mental health care parity. All right. On the judiciary, on the Democrat side, they're focusing on criminal identification, confidentiality, and police accountability. And I made myself a note that I want to look more at this one because I'm not sure what they mean by that. And the grocery tax, I want to look at that too. So they eliminated it by 1%, but that didn't cover what the local municipalities are doing. So I'm going to look at that and I'm going to report back to you if that's actually even saving any money whatsoever. So I want to plug again that in Southern Illinois, we don't get much information. I've given you more information the last month than you've probably have heard in the last year. And that's why voting is important, because we cannot affect change nationally unless we do it locally. And a lot of things happening in Illinois are because of the policies by the people in power in this state. The governor's office, the attorney general's office, secretary of state, and the supermajority of Democrats in the legislature. So, in order to get prices down and to get gas lower, we, the people, need to vote. And that's probably the most important thing we ever do. And yeah, I got on the soapbox about it, but that part is true. I see that there is a push from various institutions to say that the national is what is driving up the prices of everything. When you dig deeper, we have to, at least in Illinois, look at the policies that we have in the state and why we, the people, the voters, are not more involved with voting and maybe getting people in there that are going to look out for your best interests. This is Just Listen Live by George Goodman. I'll be back on Friday, and hopefully we'll have some more positive things to tell you about taxation and that gas prices are going down in the state. Have a great day and have a good week. See you soon.